during this pandemic, uh, like you said, many people think because they're using a lot of chemical, they're, being safe. Best the opposite, because now, I just mentioned, poison control, they receive more calls than ever.
When I was younger, I was able to have enough success to buy a couple acres, and it was a big deal at that time. This is in my late 20s, or I guess almost mid 20s. I think I was like 27 years, I guess about 27 years old, and I bought this house, and it was in the middle of this farming area that was using chemicals, and my wife and I lost 4 pregnancies at that house. And we thought that we couldn't have kids because, like, right when we were moving into that house, when I was 28, my son was born. And then, right around that same time is when we were moving in. And then as we had we tried to have other children, we couldn't, and it was not good, and there were specific ones. And so we had several babies that it's called anencephaly. And without getting into that full disease, Texas A&M and Duke University were doing studies, and in the 90 percentile those specific diseases, they were coming in areas of farming and pesticides. And then we were told by the doctors that maybe we shouldn't try to have children anymore. And when we finally moved out of that house, away from all of those chemicals, we had 2 baby girls. And my kids, you've been
Yeah.
around my family, Jaime. So now I have 3 children, and through that experience, we changed our diet. We changed the chemicals that were in our life. I even lost weight. And I thought, and I had been working out. I still worked out even around the farmland. I used to run all the way around. My block was like 6 miles just to go around the block, so sometimes I would run that. So I was still working out, and I was gaining weight. And as soon as I moved away from there, I started losing weight. And so there was so many things I noticed. And the thing that changed was our environment, and our environment was full of pesticides because they were spraying the crops around the
Right.
property that we lived in.
Yeah, that's just very dangerous. And I know, I hear of some stories about people get, not just like what happened with your family, your wife and you, but they get another disease because the chemicals are really strong. And good thing we have here in Marine in California, they banned a lot of those chemicals now. But still some, there is still some in the food and the cleaning industry, especially in the cleaning industry, still a lot more than we realize as, because even the blue, to clean the windows, uh, they have a
Yeah.
lot of chemicals, and it's not good for us. And that's the miles. It's supposed to be the safest, but it's not.
Right. It's hard for me sometimes when I'm traveling too. And with 2020, we haven't traveled as much, but you go to a hotel and you're ready
Yeah,
to go get into your bed, and then it
right.
smells. And I'm
Yeah,
more sensitive to it now because I've
yeah,
removed myself. So I'm not used to smelling those chemicals. And
exactly.
then you go into that hotel room, and it's, more chemicals.
Yeah,
And since we are talking about 2020, I think more people have fears because of, the pandemic and, all those things, that they want to use more chemicals because they think it's sanitizing.
hmm.
But maybe just for a moment, can you speak how you still can sanitize, and it can be safe and be organic and not use these chemicals?
yes, yes. That's just one thing. I love what to do because during this pandemic, uh, like you said, many people think because they're using a lot of chemical, they're being safe. Best the opposite, because now, I just mentioned, poison control, they receive more calls than ever, because children, are touching all these chemicals, wipes, anything, because people leaves the chemicals in the house, like wipes or another spray. So it's very dangerous. So for me, it's very important, and I am really glad and happy that we are doing organic, because uh, it's you can clean without chemicals and it's still safe. That's just not, we can say, a big deal, because if you clean like a countertop, and where you place your food in the kitchen, just doing with soap and water, that make the trick to clean. But many people want to use, like a disinfectant or something like that, and they think they will be clean the countertop, but they are getting poison themselves
Yeah.
instead of cleaning. That's just really, really dangerous for everybody.
And I didn't even think about that, Jaime, because people are sanitizing like every second, or they bring something from outside. They're like spraying it down again, or
Yep,
putting the wipes there, that they're leaving it out. Because
yep,
normally maybe you would put that in the cabinet and your little children wouldn't have it. But because you're doing it every second, because you're so worried about sanitizing, then now it's being left out and the kids are getting into their hands. And let alone that, you as an adult, like you said, you're putting all that into your food. You're like wiping
yep,
down your counters every second, and then putting more chemicals into your food as you prepare that. So now you're eating it
yep.
and then causing your immune system to go down. So even if it doesn't kill you, your immune system is compromised because it's now trying to combat these poisons that are going in your body. So we're
Yep.
actually doing, like you said, the opposite of actually helping ourselves stay healthy during this pandemic.
Exactly. And one thing we can do, it's just, if you don't have to buy a lot of disinfectant or something like that, to especially in the kitchen, because a lot of people who um, cook spend a lot of time on kitchen, just go to the store and get non-toxic dishwasher soap, and that's make the trick to clean all around the kitchen, nothing else. If you want to add a little more, something to kill germ or something like that, just add, 3T oil, and that's help a lot.
Yeah, tea tree is one that I do. Sometimes even an acupuncturist told me just to have a tincture on the airplane. Even like if you're
Mhm.
worried, just have a little tea tree oil. You could wipe down the armrest,
Yep.
and that's an organic way
Hmm.
to be able to clean and sanitize there. I think lavender is another oil that
Yep.
does that too. I know tea tree is a
Hmm.
big one,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey there, I want to give you something really big. It's called Clear Path to Customers. It's the way that we get the right language to get the right client. I like to call them your wow clients, so that you can have more results, more revenue, more raving fans, and more referrals. And I want to give this to you absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to stevenapolitan.com to check it out, or you can look at the description here. We'll put the details there. As always, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.